When starting any long-running anime series, especially ones from the 90s and 2000s, you're bound to run into some filler. It could just be an episode, maybe an arc, possibly even a whole season if you really want to push it, or 2 fucking years if you're Naruto. But there is no way around the fact that on your watch through of a lot of popular animes from this particular time period, there's gonna be some filler that comes along, and when it does, you can either pick one of 2 options. Either you watch them and see what kind of wacky, uncanny adventures your favorite characters get into in a non-canon alternative timeline. Or say, fuck them, I already have 20,000 animes on my watch list I need to finish. I don't want to see Luffy and Zoro buttfuck a goat for 48 minutes. And most people pick the latter in skipping these non-canon episodes, but I feel like in doing so, in skipping all the filler in any anime, you'd be missing out on a lot of really fun moments and interesting ideas. Filler is a chance for a series to take a break from the high-intensity, high-stakes, story-driven agenda the series usually has to follow and ease the pedals a bit and do something a little bit more laid back and fun. While skipping the filler episodes in any given anime isn't going to prevent you from understanding how the story unfolds, what it could prevent is you having as much fun with the series as you possibly could. Not all filler is garbage. Some of my favorite parts in any anime come from filler. If canon episodes are the meat and potatoes of an anime series, then filler episodes are like a nice cold glass of water to chill you out and cleanse your palate before you go back to finishing your meal. Unless you're Bleach, then your filler is goddamn battery acid. But I think filler as a whole has undeservingly been given a bad reputation by anime fans when there's plenty of great moments that come from filler episodes. Let's start with a series that's nice, short, and compact. One Piece. Now, admittedly, One Piece does have a lot less filler in percentage with how many canon episodes it has compared to other animes. It's something like only 9% of the anime is actual filler, which might not seem like a lot until you remember that 9% of One Piece is still like 100 episodes, so there's plenty of filler to go through. But out of all filler arcs and episodes across anime I've seen, I'd say One Piece definitely had the best and most memorable filler episodes. Maybe it's One Piece's already pretty goofy atmosphere, but its filler was usually pretty enjoyable. In particular, I definitely have to mention the G8 arc and the Ocean's Dream arc. The G8 arc starts right after the crew leaves Sky Island, and as they're falling down from the sky, the crew crash lands right in front of a marine base, being spotted and attacked immediately. This arc's premise was just perfect. After finishing a huge fight with Eniru and now leaving the Sky Island, the Straw Hats are thinking they're pretty safe now until they immediately get into even more trouble than they did in Skypiea. I feel like this arc was actually way better than what canonly happened in the manga, and this is how I feel it should have played out. It's actually a lot more entertaining than what actually happened, but regardless, now caught in apparent danger by none other than the world fucking government, the Straw Hats split up to protect their ship as well as protect their own lives. All of the Straw Hats disguise themselves as Navy personnel to try and blend in with the Navy base and not seem like they're just some meddling pirates. So, in attempts to blend in, all the Straw Hats disguise themselves as different roles within the Navy base, and it was great to see them go undercover and play spy a bit on the Navy. Luffy and Sanji go undercover as cooks for the Navy, and Sanji unsurprisingly falls in love with the first girl he sees, a female chef named Jessica. In classic Sanji style, he whips up a hearty meal to impress her and show the cooks how to not waste food, but unsurprisingly, she isn't impressed despite how good the food actually looks. But Jessica does tell Luffy to bring their dish to the headmaster, and Luffy, being the idiot he is, he just takes it right to the master, forgetting that he isn't an actual chef there and he's just undercover. So the Straw Hats get figured out, and there's a fight between them and the Navy base that ends with the Straw Hats victorious, of course, and them heading right back on their way across their journey through the Grand Line. This arc is such a great addition to One Piece, and I do really wish this was the canon event that occurs in this time period, but nevertheless, it was super fun to watch. Then there's the Ocean Dream arc, which, unlike the G8 arc, I'm very happy was not a canon event because of how little sense it makes, but it was still so fun to watch as a filler arc. The Straw Hats all wake up one day and just completely forget who anyone in their crew is, or that they're even pirates to begin with. Defeating Arlong? Nah, I'm just a slave. Saving my home village from a creepy madman? Nah, I'm just a liar. Beating Inaru? Nah, I'm just a horny fucking cook. Saving Alabasta from its imminent water shortage and defeating an unruly, corrupt leader, freeing the people of Alabasta, not just of their tyrannical government figure, but also their generational drought issue? Nah, I'm just a stupid fucking reindeer who can shapeshift like Ben 10 and everyone fucking hates me because of it. Also, who the fuck is this strange rubber man?
It's good to see you, buddy.
So none of the Straw Hats remember anything about anything, and it was hilarious to watch. Stuff like this is why I feel filler is so underrated. This would never happen in the canon story, because it's pretty silly and doesn't make any sense, but god, it's so fun to watch nevertheless. The next anime's filler I gotta talk about is Naruto's filler. Now, Naruto's filler is definitely more of a mixed bag than One Piece's filler, with some of it being super great and some of it not so much. It really just depends on the episode. What I think, and it seems many other fans of Naruto agree with, is the Kakashi and Nabu arc is for sure a huge highlight, not just in the context of filler, but in the broader scale of the anime as a whole, giving us some very compelling backstory into Kakashi as a character. This arc is obviously a backstory and is a filler backstory at that, but it perfectly served the purpose filler is intended to serve. While this arc is not canon to the main story, it does the job of complementing the narrative in a way that makes the canon even better, which is exactly what good filler should do. Not necessarily be the driving force that makes a story engaging, but adding to it in a way that makes the end result that much more hard-hitting. And there is no better example of this than the Kakashi and Nabu arc inside of Naruto. Following Rin and Obito's death, Kakashi becomes very depressed. So, in hopes to get a change of pace for Kakashi and get him out of his slump, Manito assigns him to the Anabu, thinking that this will help him out of his depression. Kakashi does join the Anabu, but when there, he quickly establishes a reputation for himself. Kakashi becomes infamous in the Anabu for his very ruthless and downright suicidal behavior. So after this, Manito reassigns him to be Kushina's bodyguard, and things actually start to look up for Kakashi. He becomes friends with Mic Guy, so he isn't completely alone anymore. That is, until the whole Kurama disaster happens and undoes any progress Kakashi had made to being a happier, more content person. Like, this guy can't ever just be happy. There's always something that has to happen to him to just bring him down again. You kind of feel bad for the guy after a while. So Kakashi becomes depressed again, but this time he meets Yamato and through a long chain of events, frees him from Danzo's grasp and gets him into Kakashi's Anabu unit. This arc is a shining example of how filler should be done and is definitely a highlight when watching the Naruto anime. Lastly, I want to talk about Bleach. Yes, Bleach. I know I called its filler pretty shit earlier, and yeah, most of its filler definitely is pretty shitty, but there are exceptions, like Zanpakuto's Rebellion arc. I think you may be sensing a theme here. I promise this was not intentional. These were just 3 really good examples of really great filler arcs throughout anime. So basically, some guy from Soul Society had a Zanpakuto whose ability was to talk to other Zanpakuto spirits and seize control of them. This guy gets sealed, and his Zanpakuto spirit, which is named Muramasa, manifests out of his blade to unseal his master. Then he basically talks to every other Zanpakuto spirit in society to manifest outside and go against the Soul Reapers. That's a very brief summary of it, and the plot is pretty basic. It's really nothing crazy, but it was still very entertaining to watch. This is a great example of filler just being entertaining and not doing more than it has to do. Anime doesn't have to be high stakes all the time to be enjoyable. It's nice to take a second to breathe from the story and watch some filler knowing that whatever happens, it's not going to be super important. And if I miss something, it's alright. Fans of anime look down on filler as only being useless soot that doesn't contribute to the main narrative at all, completely missing the entire point of having the filler to begin with. A series is meant to be enjoyed, not meticulously analyzed to the point where you're not even enjoying the series anymore. Watch the anime because you like it, not because it's dense. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on filler throughout anime. I just think it gets a bit overhated by fans, but if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I have a ton of other videos on my channel about anime, so if that's what you're into, you should go check them out. Yeah, but other than that, have a good one, alright?